Hi there. Hi there, fellow pilgrims. It feels like it's been forever since we've been together, live or otherwise. It was because I was doing second and fourth weeks of the month and then first and third to accommodate some stuff with Rachel's retreat, et cetera, et cetera. And then there was a period where there were 3 weeks went by. So anyway, I'm excited to be here today. And as usual, I've been trying really hard to find a way that I can contribute to the theme of the month, which for June is Zeta beings um, from Orion, and some information about our crystalline bodies or our light bodies. Anyway, that's what I gleaned from Rachel's postings. And as sometimes I don't know what the heck we're going to talk about, Merlin or I or anybody, when I come on from my presentation. And I guess a few days ago, as sometimes I do, I go to bed at night and I ask, and I was like, please help me. I don't know what we're going to talk about. What do you want to talk about? And can we get into this particular subject matter? Well, as what sometimes happens is I wake up in the morning like half asleep and I don't have to get out of bed yet. And somebody's talking in my head. And I got this new person who claims to be Horace, the Roman poet, who is famous because he left behind a whole trove of poetry and information that he wrote down about his life in ancient Rome. And he also claims that that was his one and only lifetime on Earth, and that he really is a Zeta being from Orion, and that he is a teacher whose job is to help new souls who decide to come to Earth be prepared and trained a little bit before coming into this dense environment, because it can be a really shock to a non-corporeal soul. And so that's what he does. He's a teacher. And in order to be good at his job, he decided he should have a lifetime on the Earth way back in our early days of civilization, and experience everything for himself so that he could give a better accounting of everything that this new souls might encounter. And I kind of believe this because I looked him up on Wikipedia, and let me see what I found. I'll show you. This is really funny. He was not only a poet, but he did everything. He dabbled in everything. He was from the 4th to the 5th century AD. They even know when his birthday was. It was December 8th, 65 BC. And he died November 27th at 56, the age of 56. Anyway, 8 BC. So this was BC. Okay. So that's pretty long ago. That's at least, 2100 years ago, something like that, when this particular round of civilizations was coming into being. And they still think of him as a very special poet because he crafted these. He loved words, and he in Latin, of course, and he invented this sort of poetic style with iambic poetry and hexameter and very complex rhymes and rhythms that went down in future. And he also they also said that Horace was really good at being down to earth and including in his poetry something about life and humanity and looking at humanity. And like one of his friends said once, as his friend laughs, Horace slyly puts his finger on his every fault. And once let in, he plays about the heartstrings. So basically, he could see people's failings and flaws, but he looked at them with love and humor. And he put that into his work that we can still read today. He also was a warrior. He was a member of the Republican Army. He befriended Octavian, who was the emperor at the time, and not necessarily remembered as a kind and gentle emperor, but he was one of the right-hand men of this emperor in civil affairs, hopefully being a positive influence on Octavian, who had a tendency to be a little bit on the tough side. Actually, he was the friend of Octavian's right-hand man, and that was Maecenas. I don't know how to say these words, Maecenas, but Maecenas was trying to get a new regime in place. It was a delicate balance, it says, that he was trying to sort of um, help guide these high mucky mucks into better decisions that were maybe kinder or more compassionate or more like heart-centered. He tells about himself in his poetry, his character, his development, his way of life. Let's see, what else did he do? He did a lot of stuff. He taught. He was a soldier. He was a politician. He was a social climber. He was a tax collector. Perhaps they're not sure about that one. Wait, I'm looking through this. He things were changing. He came during a time of great change. Social bonds, the social castes, the way things were done in ancient Rome was changing. And so it was important for him to be there during this time of chaos, kind of like the time we're in now, because he learned more about humanity and how humanity reacts to such things. He was friends with Virgil. He was a diplomat. Sometimes helped to negotiate treaties. He wrote satires. He became a knight. He wrote letters that were saved in books called epistles. Anyway, I'm only telling you this because in his one lifetime, which I think is let me check again. The only lifetime that he came to Earth as a human to experience it, and he and he only lived 56 years, and he stuffed into it as much as he could possibly stuff into it, and experienced it at all the highest levels, so that he could bring back with him information about how to prepare souls to become human and to experience the density of this planet, the ups, the downs, the sensory stimulation, the exciting things that happen, and the mistakes, the flaws. And so that's what he's telling me. And he also just told me right before I went on the air today that he happened. I have thought for a long time that I've always had an affinity for the constellation of Orion. Even when I knew nothing about what that meant, I would go out into the night sky and look up and find Orion and just be like in tears, thinking I know that place. And I don't think I originated there, but I do think I was trained there early on. And he's telling me he was my teacher. He was one of my teachers. And that's why he's coming today, because we resonate together, because he knows me already. So that's kind of exciting. I didn't know that before. Little bits and pieces, of it's not so vital for us to know about our past lives, or our development, or where we came from, or what planets we might have been on. But it's fun to get the little puzzle pieces in place, because it kind of explains the direction, your talents, your skills, your direction that you're going in this lifetime, and what you can add to the mix. And so that is the background for today. And he wants to talk a little bit about everything I just said and elaborate on that. And he also wants to talk about the transition to the silicon-based or crystalline-based body, which we're all talking about all the time, or the light, how do we increase our light bodies, all that sort of thing, which we talk about a lot, but I'm not sure we all really understand completely, or can understand completely, but maybe we can understand a little better. So he wants to talk about that. And I'm going to take a minute for some housekeeping before I go into trance. And Merlin is here. He's not going to come on board to talk because he's helping. He's helping me channel HORACE. And he's right beside me. And he's excited about this. He's sort of help me make the connection. If you would like a personal reading or a channeling of anyone you would like, or especially Merlin, who has always personal wisdom and guidance to give, go to this section of Rachel's website. She has generously allowed me to schedule readings through her website because I don't have one of my own. So here is the information for that. And hopefully you found me on YouTube today. I'm going to just make a little check. I don't know if I look at the tag thing, if it says whether or not we're on. Hang on. I did put the link to watch on YouTube on the tag advertisement that I did a couple days ago or yesterday. So you can find that link there. Oh, I didn't put the link. Oh my God. Okay, here's the link. Hopefully it's still ready to be pasted. Okay, so you missed everything because I didn't put the link right. It's in the chat though. The link was in the chat. And here is this. So now you can go to the tag advertisement and find the link to use to come to this rest of this. And I will check the, all right. So let us see now. The actual thing, I don't think it's going to appear on the Facebook. So I'm going to get rid of that. All right. So possible, it's very possible that many of you have been searching for this program and missed the beginnings because I was dumb and I didn't put I said, here is the link for the program, and then I didn't paste it. But I pasted it now. It's there now. And it was also in the chat for tag. And hopefully you're finding us. Somebody's finding us. I'm going to check now to see if anybody's in the comments. Candace, hi. So nice to see you. Oh, you found it in the chat. Thank you so much. Blah. And of course, as always, if you are watching, not now, if you can't come now, and if you are watching this on replay, welcome. Everything that happens here is time free, basically, and you will get as much out of it as anybody who came live, except you won't have the ability to participate. That's the only downside, really. And thank you, Candace, for coming. It's nice to have an actual audience. And of course, I have the deepest respect for your own abilities and what you present as well. So let me look for it. There's the comments. There's a banner I want to put up now. Alrighty. So if you missed the beginning, I'm just going to say, HORACE is an ancient Roman poet. He wants to come forward today because he says he's actually more of a Zeta being from Orion. He doesn't really have a body most of the time. He came to the earth one time and one time only, and that was as the great Roman poet that we still know about. And obviously he made an impression. And he is, for the most part, a teacher out of Orion to help new souls be prepared for a journey, an incarnation on Earth. And so now we're going to bring him forward and let him take over the reins and see what he's going to tell us today. Sounds exciting. This is new for me too, because I don't often venture into like unknown territory with people I don't really know much about, but I was told to trust that it would be fine. So, and Merlin's right here beside me. So, okay. I am surprised. This channel has called me unknown territory. In fact, we have known each other intimately in many capacities and in timeless places and times. I am HORACE, or at least that is not my name that I go by in the ethers, in the cosmos, for I am a Zeta being who has a very large personality, but not a body at this time. I have embodied in many different forms, and one of the forms was on your earth. And I did that consciously and very much intentionally so that I could learn what it was like to be a human being on the earth under the veil of forgetfulness and facing all of the challenges and difficulties and chaos and density that you have on your earth, and yet also enjoying all of the amazing sensory stimulation and details and excitement that earth can also provide the new soul, or the soul who has not been there before. And so I did do this so I could learn and bring back with me as much information as I could in order to impart a very thorough teaching and preparation to those souls who choose to go into earth and experience these things for their personal growth. Now, you see, it is important for, at least for the young soul or the new soul, the soul who is not embodied in denser places before, to have a period of training and education before descending into this kind of situation, your situation. And then once it is done, many choose to come back to the earth many times and have this, they are then familiar with the process and they do not need so much guidance, although some could really use it in between lifetimes, I would say. But it is important because in the cosmos, you see, all souls have the ability to create and expand and grow. That is their purpose and that is their passion, I would say. Their passion is to grow and create, to become more, to expand always. And when they begin, they may do lesser things of lesser stress, like embodying in or not embodying, going to visit lifetimes in planets where it is of a very high vibration or not really embodies, or light bodies perhaps only. And then gradually they may come to feel they need the experience of a denser world. And there are not as many as you may think that are in the category of your earth. Your earth is a very special place. But they wish to come and expand themselves in a sort of accelerated class, for the earth is a very, very important teacher. Very, very a teacher that is, pardon the distraction, it is the telephone in this channel's house. It will be over soon. And so you would be pleased to know that the draw of Earth's experience is very seductive to the young soul. And there are many who wish to go and leap into that experience before they are truly ready. It is a very challenging atmosphere and environment, as you can well imagine. If you have not done it before, there are many shocks, many culture shocks, so to speak. And so we try to prepare them. We try to there are many stations, let's say, intermediate stations in the cosmos who do this and embark upon this teaching, this preparation, this sort of you must come and be trained before you go into, your assigned or your chosen lifetimes. And they are scattered about, but Orion is one of the big centers where we have done this for many, many years. It is a we take on this mantle because we feel we have the gifts to do it well. And we feel that we are compassionate and also wise. And we are interested in making the young soul's journeys as comfortable as possible. And so we have been doing this for, well, your millennia, but, there is no time where we are. And so many of you are known to me, and many of you have come through our way station and been educated and trained before you came to your first lifetime on Earth. And this channel is one of the people that I have knowledge of, that we have been in touch. And it is one of the reasons why she remembers Orion as a place of great joy and love. We try to surround our students with a sense of protection and love and caring, that we would not lead them into any danger, real danger, or anything that would harm them or traumatize them in their development. And so this is what she remembers early on. It's like your memories of your early childhood, if you had a very good experience and you remember it with nostalgia and warmth. And this is what she is experiencing when she thinks of me and she thinks of us and the way that she was trained. And so, enough of that. Yes, I am Zeta, and there are many kinds of Zeta, as you have already found. And we are most of the time now disembodied, but we are ourselves. We still are individuals, and we are carrying forth our mission. Oh, and I was saying, there is a great seduction that the earth and its dense and wonderful offerings presents to the young soul. And yet it is a difficult planet on which to keep one's soulful balance and calm and connection with soul and connection of knowledge of self, and therefore it is very easy for a soul to fall into a wrong pathway, miscreation or of their energy, depression, feelings of being lost or uncertain or fearful or resentful or disappointed. All of that can be there, and proper training can ameliorate that possibility a little. You still have to go into the veil of forgetfulness, and that is a very difficult thing to do. Your assignment at this time, when we are moving towards ascension, which will change everything, you will try to pierce that veil of forgetfulness and understand who you truly are, at least at core. You may not remember all your lifetimes. You may not remember your beginnings. You may not remember your inception as a soul, but you will remember that you are part of a much greater plan and a much greater entity and a much greater and eternal truth than you think. Yes. And you are not separate from that ever. You are never separate. We are all part of the same being, the same body, the same community. And yes, so I am very joyful to come here and speak with you this way now, extending my teacherly abilities to come to you through a channel and to speak to you in the course of your adventures here on Earth, which is a rather a new way for me to be a teacher and do more than I usually am able to do. I am permitted to give guidance now in the midst of your journey because you are on the road to ascension and everything is changing, of course. Well, the energies are, whew, they are ramping up at a very, very, very big speed and causing lots of confusion, raising much that is dark and confusing and negative to the surface to be transmuted. But it is what you see now, and it is disheartening if you do not know that behind that is the bright light of ascension. So all of you who will watch this are, thank goodness, aware of yourself, of your true origins. You are aware that you are on the road to something much greater, and you are aware that all the chaos that you are living through now is temporary, and it is a positive move to take all of the detritus and garbage of miscreation that has happened throughout your Earth's history and raise it up to be awareness and to transmutation back to source energy, so that it will no longer have power over any of you and you can move into your ascension more comfortably. And of course, there are forces. I will not call them evil, but there are forces who are resistant. Some of them are souls that have come to Earth again and again and are attached. They have an attachment to keeping Earth the way it is. They have learned how to game the system. They do not want change. They are either afraid. Well, they are afraid at core, but they are afraid, or they feel that they know how to win the game or game the wins, so to speak. And they wish to do this again and again and again and have power and dominion over all the others. This is a very, this is all based originally on fear, but it has morphed into sometimes lust for power, lust to have dominion over Earth and all it offers, all of the experiences it offers, all of the sensory delights it offers. And there are also other galactic beings who wish to slow down the process because they also are stuck in a lower vibration of, shall I say, wishing for dominion over others. I will echo something that Merlin has said to you, that it is important, very important and vital at this stage throughout the cosmos, but especially in your earth now. And within you, those of you who are in the vanguard of the teachers and the healers and the awakened population of the earth who will lead the ascension, you must make a priority of self-love. And I do not mean to pamper yourself at all times or grab for anything you should want in your ego. I mean, truly connecting with your heart and understanding that you are much more than you appear to be. You are not a victim. You are not a powerless being who must somehow placate an angry God to be in favor. You are part of that source. You are part of that being. You are a beloved child of that being. You are a creator in your own right. You are a soul of great force and power and light. And this is all hidden from you, of course, but you are finding it out bit by bit. And when you find that out, for you to love yourself, for you to understand your majesty and your magnificence, for you to know that all is well, that you are fine exactly as you are, and that your adventures may include experiments that go awry, or things that are challenges that help you to grow, or mistakes that you may make, which seem like mistakes, but they are just a way for you to find your guidance system and grow. And so when you love yourself, you have no need to denigrate anyone else. And you see your brother and sister across the way who may look different or who is just another traveler on the path, and you say, this person is also a piece of the great source. And they have their own journey and their own path to take, and they may be different from mine, but they are equally valid, and they're all doing the best they can, and they're all growing, and they're all experimenting, and we are one, and we help each other, and we love one another, and we do not harm anyone, and we do not have any need to dominate anyone. We do not need to blame anyone. We do not need to find a way to be superior to anyone else, because we love ourselves enough that we do not need to buck up our own self-esteem with the putting down of anyone else, which of course is the source of all wars, all political struggles, all want and need, all hoarding, all power struggles on your planet, which must be eliminated. And self-love is a key to that, even though it doesn't seem like it. It seems like that would be selfishness and it would lead to more problems. But no, true self-love that is heart-centered is what is going to even the playing field and make all of those things obsolete and unnecessary. And so I tell you this because there are entire races of galactic beings who are stuck in the ignorance of lack of self-love. Their lack of self-love, their lack of understanding of the big picture causes them to also be in need of domination, in need of power, in need of wanting to suppress others so that they can feel better about themselves. And they sometimes get involved with your planet. We do what we can to protect you from them, and we do what we can to bar them from entry. But they do come in, and they are wily, and they are clever, and they do sometimes make a mess of things. And it is part of the challenge that you experience. And your eyes must be open to find those who are not trustworthy, because they are only trying to manipulate and dominate. And they are trying to wreak chaos, because in chaos, there is no cohesion of community. So that is my word on that today. And you all understand it very well, I'm sure. There are no evil spirits or demons out there, but there are beings that would like to make a mess of things just because they like to make things harder for everyone but themselves. And you understand that because you see the same tendencies in your humans. Yes. All right. So I did promise I would speak a little about the change that's happening, that will happen physically in your bodies. And I understand that many of you may be a little apprehensive or a little afraid of some of the way it is described to you. It's like, you have been carbon-based beings forever and ever, and now suddenly you will be silicon-based beings because silicon holds more light and generates more light, and so therefore your whole body chemistry and structure will change, and you want to encourage that to happen quicker. Well, what does that seem like to you? It may feel like you are going to be a race of crystal quartz statue people who are rock and not very mobile and not particularly um, anything like the bodies that you are familiar with. And this is all, well, I would not use a word that, it is complete malarkey. It is not at all what you will expect to happen. You understand, if you think about your chemistry on Earth and the makeup of all of your Mother Earth carries in her every single type of material that is necessary for your souls to create physical manifestation of everything you wish. And that includes your own bodies. Your soul comes down with its template and its blueprint, and it draws to itself all the elements that it needs in order to have a physical body that is the complex machine you know and love very well in the human condition. And your chemists and your scientists have dissected and found much of the physical makeup of what all of the flesh and blood is made of. And they understand more and more about your DNA patterns, although there's still much more to discover that is not yet known. But these are the elements of your earth which have been brought together in certain proportions to make a sort of a fluid and mobile and flexible kind of durable flesh and blood being that you can inhabit, and that lasts you a good long time if you take care of it, and probably could last you a lot longer if you did a better job taking care of it. But then you are called carbon based because that is the primary element that is necessary for your flesh and blood to be manifested. But do you actually feel like a carbon being? I mean, everything you know about carbon has to do with coal or has to do with charcoal or carbon dioxide that poisons, carbon monoxide that poisons, and carbon dioxide, which is good for plants, but not very much for people, and carbon that hurts the atmosphere. And all of this is just different uses for the same elements and gases that are present on your earth. But it's all fluid, and it all depends on the combinations that happen. Some carbon is poison to you. Some carbon is the very nature of who you are. But it is all mixed with the proper elements in the perfect proportion so that you get a very dense body that is durable under the conditions that you need it to have for this survival in this third dimensional existence. Now, if you are silicon based, which other beings on other planets are, all it means is that not that you turn into a quartz crystal and you can't move anymore, or that you look like a rock. You are taking the elements that actually exist in those quartz crystals and incorporating them into the recipe. And they also can be fluid. They also can be liquid. They also can be in different combinations with other elements, which add something different to the composition of your fleshly being. And I will say that even now on your planet, one of the sources for silica that you can ingest are in plants. There are some plants that are very rich in the element of silica that is extracted from it and given to you through different supplements, or sometimes you eat the plant and you can get it that way. But these are plants that came to you specifically from other galaxies because they are from the silicon-based galaxies that come to you to seed this planet with enough silica so that eventually it will help you to make this transition, this chemical transition. And it is subtle. It is going to take a while for something that extreme to happen, and it is not going to look very different to you. But I will do, perhaps this is a silly metaphor, but the object is for you to be able to hold more light. And by light, you understand by now that we mean intelligent light that comes from source, that informs you with wisdom and understanding and being, basically, because that is what the universe is originally made from and comes from source and is the very impulse for your existence. And so you wish to have more of this, more of that nutrient, the light nutrient, the light that inside of itself carries the elements of joy, of holiness, of love, of power, of manifestation abilities, of higher vibrational energies. Right now, your body is very, very dense, and it is dense. It was designed to be dense. It was designed to be dense so that it could withstand the elemental nature of your planet, the weather, the nutritional need for nutrition, need for exercise. It had to be dense in order to be a survivor, especially in the early days and even now. But you can be a lighter body and hold more light, and then you will have less density, less physical strength, perhaps in some ways, but more ability to transcend and well, to be less dense means that you might be able to, say, not necessarily have your feet on the ground all the time, or perhaps to walk through denser walls, or to be vibrating at a higher rate, which also helps your heart to expand and helps you to exude love, wisdom, patience, community, creativity, hope, beauty. All of these things come in the light, and the more you have within you, you have seen people in the world that you know, holy people, artists, perhaps, those that make beautiful music or paintings or write in beautiful ways, may be channeling more light through them. Sometimes it does damage to them, either psychologically or physically. There are symptoms because they have carried so much light and they attract so much light, and their bodies are very dense and they do not mingle well. And this is where some people actually turn to addictions with drugs and alcohol in order to dull the symptoms they feel, because they don't understand what is happening or how that they could face these contradictions in more healthy ways. But in any case, for you to move forward, I will use a very foolish analogy, but indulge me for a moment. If you were doing your dishes, would you use a block of wood to do your dishes? Because you would wet the block of wood and try to do your dishes, and it would not be very successful. And why is that? Well, the block of wood is very dense. It is extremely dense. It is not pliable, and it does not hold the water needed to clean the things you are trying to clean or to rinse them. Yes? But if you use the sponge, what have you got? You've got something that is much more malleable and porous, and it holds a lot of water. It holds your soap, it holds your water, and you're able to do what you need to do with that because it is of a different consistency. It is not as dense, and it is able to have the water pass through it, come through it, hold it, and come through it. Now, this is what we are trying to do with your bodies, very slowly and very carefully, changing the composition so that you are not a block of wood anymore, because you don't need to be as you move towards ascension, and you are moving towards a different recipe, a different combination of elements that is a little more porous, that allows more light to be held within you all the time, which elevates you to a higher vibration automatically, elevates your mood, your understanding, your joy level, your level of wisdom, your level of joy, your level of love. your level of capacity for all of that, because the light is coming through you in greater amounts and being able to emanate from you in greater amounts. And if everyone has that happening, you can tell that society would be a completely different animal. Everything would change because people would not be so dense and ignorant, and they would all be emanating this level of light towards each other, and it would be a wonderful thing. Now, there are things, if you can take the silly image that I have given you a little further, if you still were not a sponge, but you were still a block of wood, but you wanted to have more water and more success in your dishwashing, you could still perhaps prepare your wood a little bit so that it would be better and more efficient and hold more water. You could soak it in water overnight so that it would hold more water and have more water to offer, perhaps. I know the analogy doesn't work perfectly, but it is what I came up with from your experience of daily life. So again, forgive me, indulge me, and try to go with the analogy. You could perhaps soak it enough times that it became softer and could hold more, and maybe would be a little more pliable. There is wood, for example, that if you soak it enough, you can bend it and form it into other shapes, which means it is more pliable, it is more flexible, it is becoming more fluid. There are other ways in which I could see extending the analogy, but it is enough. I mean to tell you that this is where you are now. You are at the place where you want to prepare your body to hold more light. And it is difficult. It is taking something very, very dense that is not used to this level of vibration and encouraging more light from the universe, which is being given you and being poured down upon you constantly, and encouraging it and inviting it to come into your body and find a way to not only exist there, but also to move through you and emanate out. If you are doing work to heal, or if you are just walking through the world and trying to emanate joy, love, and wisdom and hope through your daily work. There are those who have been incredibly successful all through your history, of course. You can imagine who I would say. They are human. They were human, but they were able to raise the level of their cellular being so that they could hold more light and give more light and be more light. And that includes love, and that includes power to manifest. Of course, the Lord Jesus, the Lord Buddha, holy saints in your catalog of saints of every religion, and some that are unsung, which have nothing to do with religion, but who are holy people because they are walking in the light at all times. But you know that these people spent their entire life dedicated to this pursuit of the light. They were meditating, they were eschewing physical pleasures, they were eating lightly and carefully, they were trying to be harmless, everything they did was counter to their own society and their own comfort levels. They were experiencing the world that you know on a different level, trying to make that bridge for others to see that there was a possibility of doing it, but they were not exactly indulging in all of the things that this world has to offer. So it is a sort of a dichotomy of what did you come here for? Now, in this case, you came here to be in the vanguard of ascension, and nobody is saying that you need to become an ascetic or to devote every moment of your life to being holy and more filled with light, because what we are trying to do now is to bring that whole thing into the real experience of people, put it together, not make it a totally separate thing. And so you must go through your life and have your families and enjoy your socializing, even your foibles that sometimes trip you up, but that you learn from. This is why you are here, to actually experience, not to be a monk, not to excerpt yourself from the reality of day-to-day life, but to be in the middle of it and shine your light so that it transforms what is around you. This is a more difficult task than anyone has had to offer. It is a very difficult task. And it has to be at the level that is comfortable for each of you. And so little by little, as you are absorbing more light, and yes, some of you are what you call experiencing ascension symptoms. Well, it is ascension symptom. What is that? You are not being pushed any faster than you are needed, than you are ready for. No, you. But the vibration of the earth is coming up, 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 and the sun is flooding you with energy, and the other suns are flooding you with energy, and the angels are here, and the unicorns are here, and there's so much energy around you now that has moved you so much dimensions. You are, most of you, at least in the fourth dimension a lot of the time, and some all the time, and with one foot in the fifth dimension occasionally, when you, as Plato said, when you're jumping on your trampoline and you sort of see yourself in the fifth dimension, and then you have to come back down and live where you are mostly comfortable. It will happen. It will come at its own pace, and it'll be faster than you think. And the transformation of your bodies will be, in the physical realm, will be so subtle that it will happen behind the scenes. So you need not fear that it is anything that you will become incapable of handling. And in the meantime, you can do things to help yourself move into it with more comfort, like eating more plant-based diets, like trying to reach for things that make you more joyful, and to walk in your day in a more cheerful, like Planet Post, oh, some of the sort of silliness, but it is not silliness. It is these energies of gratitude, of cheerfulness, of love, of peace, of calm, of harmless, powerful energies, and they transform people. And when you adopt, just like anything else, it takes practice. Just like if you are learning a musical instrument, or to be an athlete, or to be a great writer, or a great anything, a great warrior, you must practice. You must practice and fail, and then it will get better and easier, and you will begin to be a master of weaponry, a master of dance, a master of music, a master of writing, a master of anything that you aspire to, athletics, creativity, whatever you wish to be a master of, you must practice, and you must be willing to fail and better. Same here. You can practice being more in the light, more of the light, channeling more light. You can more of your day in a state of what you encounter in the day. You can spend more of your day reaching for things that raise your vibration and bring you joy. You can spend sharing that with others and having that give and take between you that raise you both up. When you do your healing work, when you do your light language, you are channeling much, much, much to others. This is raising your vibration, but it is also, it is a, you must recover from that. You must recover from that. And so be what it is like for a while. You will have your moments, your days, your times when you feel like you are vibrating great. And then you'll have your moments when something triggers you and you spiral into a darker place or a heavier place. But hopefully is shifting. You will be more in the light every day than you ever have been, and you will spend less and less time in the doldrums or allowing others to drag you into their dramas or their darker places. And as you shine brighter and brighter and bigger and more easily, the ripples that come from you change everything for everyone that you come in contact with. And so the evolution of your bodies is very closely aligned with the evolution of your attitudes, your level of disengagement from the chaos of the world, which we also know is difficult because you are in the world and you wish to be a part of what is going on and you wish to effect change. This way for you to effect change is to at least disengage enough so that you can see things from the perspective of love and possibility and hope and peace, and without judgment of anybody or any side. This is a challenge, and you will work on it, and you will become better at it. So do not fear any talk about your bodies evolving or changing. And when you hear talk of for the change, holding more light, allowing more light into your crystalline body, allowing your body to evolve to be able to hold more light, which is a sort of a chicken or an egg thing, which comes first. Just know that it is always about seeking to have the light coursing through you, love coursing through you, hope coursing through you, joy coursing through you, every moment that you can allow it to be. And this will do, the rest will be automatic and it will come. And there I am, being a teacher once again, and being a teacher all the way from Orion, and not having to be in a body, not having to be not having to be embodied on your planet, which to me right now would feel limiting. But I praise you and bless you for doing this work, because the earth is a very beautiful place and it deserves this moment to come to its fruition and to its next chapter. And the only way that will happen, even with all of the intentions of the universe and all of us out here rooting for it and sending our contribution, it will only happen when the people of Earth who are there make their own transformations, as you are very bravely doing. I am HORACE. At least that is what I let you call me. That is what I was called on Earth. You would not be able to pronounce my Zeta name, but I will be back again, I think. I am enjoying this way of doing my profession, my calling, and being able to do it while you are here embodied, and perhaps will benefit and profit from my counsel. And I also appreciate this channel's willingness to allow me to speak, and also our great Master Merlin's assistance making this possible. I bless you all, and I ask you not to succumb to any fears, for the love of the universe is the solid platform on which you stand. Amen to that. And good day. All right. Well, that was HORACE. What a different personality, huh? Yeah. I see there's some other, I'm sorry about the phone ringing. I had it near me because I didn't want it to, anyway. Let's see if anybody else has a comment. We have Candace. Oh, you needed to recap. Good. Okay. And you can go back. There was a lot more. I read some stuff on Wikipedia about who HORACE was when he was here on the earth. That was what the early stuff was that you might have missed if you didn't get the link until, when I figured out that I didn't post it right. Okay. And there's some other people here. Just a couple. Hi, Lucia. And this is, oh, Rachel too. Thank you. Thank you for coming. And I hope that was a real interesting experience for me, because he was a very different personality and he had lots to say that I think was really interesting and really kind of cleared up a lot, or at least encouraged us. And what do we got for time? Just about an hour almost. And I'm going to sign off and let you go about your day and enjoy your weekend. And hopefully some people will come. And so those of you who are here, I appreciate it. And thank you for sticking it out and listening. And if you have any questions or reactions to what he said, please feel free to post them in the tag, the little tag post, or in the chat. You can post them and I'll see if I get any answers from him that would clear anything up that wasn't clear. And hopefully he'll come back again. And if anybody is going to watch the replay, I thank you for that. And hopefully it's going to be something that is useful and helpful to you. Have a wonderful weekend wherever you are. And we'll be back again in 2 weeks with something. I don't know what. Take care. Bye.